Good morning. This is my first show since the cray cray holiday has begun. And while I don't want to do too many shows about the holidays because we all know, most of you who've been with me a while know how I feel about this time of year, I thought I would take this moment to remind all of you that you're all going nuts for the wrong reasons. So I wrote some thoughts down, and I rarely read, but I thought this was kind of cool. Maybe it should have been a blog, but these were some of my thoughts as I watched the craziness that started before the turkey was even cold and in the refrigerator waiting for leftover turkey sandwiches. 'Tis the season to be trampled, to be pushed and shoved. 'Tis the season to sleep overnight to be the first one in the Walmart. 'Tis the season to steal packages from your neighbor's porch because you don't have any money to buy gifts for your kids. 'Tis the season to break an arm, get a concussion, break your neck, trying to outdo the neighbors in your outside decorations. 'Tis the season to be shot over a disagreement in an Alabama mall. And this one is where I will start the story because it is so sad. And while I said that these shows this week may not be political, well, I'm sorry. It's not really political, but it does have to do with guns and good guys with guns. Because the young man that was shot and killed at the Alabama mall after a disagreement erupted and a gun was shown and fired, injuring two people, including a 12-year-old child. They said they shot the suspect dead. Problem was, he wasn't the suspect. He was a good guy with a gun. But once again, to me, this becomes political when we hear our politicians saying a good guy with a gun will stop a bad guy with a gun. Well, in this situation, the police didn't know that the guy they killed was actually the good guy. And he was the good guy. He was in the army. He was a beloved son, grandson. Big smile, beautiful face. But he had a license to carry a gun, and he took it to the mall. And from all accounts, when he heard that shots had been fired, he pulled his gun to try to help people. But see, the cops didn't see a good guy with a gun. They just saw a guy with a gun. And some will say, well, it was a black guy with a gun. Well, look, they were told that two African American guys were fighting and that an African American was the shooter. So what were the police supposed to think in this situation? I'm not defending the police. But at the end of the day, when they hear they're coming to the mall, right? There's been shots fired on Thanksgiving Day, and the person who fired the shots and injured people was an African American man, and then they go into the mall and see an African American dude with a gun. What are they supposed to think? And this is where the politics come in a little bit, because first of all, I don't think anybody should be allowed to walk into a mall or a movie theater with a gun, or a church for that matter. I don't want to go to church and know the guy sitting next to me is carrying. That makes me feel more unsafe. And in this situation, the good guy with the gun ended up dead. And that's very, very sad. What the original fight was over, we don't know. Was it about, oh, I got the Xbox before you got the Xbox? But 'tis the season. 'Tis the season. And now this beautiful young man, an army, he's a member of our military, for goodness sake. He's dead because he had a gun as a good guy. And he was trying to help. He was trying to save people, and in the end, he lost his life. Good guys with guns, they don't have signs on their faces. I'm the good guy. I'm your friend till the end. When police come into a situation where there is open fire, an active shooter, and they're told the shooter is an African American male, any African American male who has a gun and doesn't have the GD, good guy, GG, good guy, written on their chest, they're going to shoot that person. Period. So remember that when you hear your politicians say all Americans should be armed to protect themselves from active shooters. Because that doesn't always work out so well. And this family is heartbroken. His mother was on television today saying Thanksgiving will never be the same. Because it was the day she lost her good guy son. Because he was trying to help. And for any of you who want to call this a racist situation, if the shooter had been described as a white dude, any white dude, even if he was a good guy, in that mall who showed the police a gun would have been killed as well. I truly believe that. They were looking for an African American with a gun. They found one. Unfortunately, it was the wrong one. And the scariest thing of all is the person who actually did the shooting is still at large. They didn't get him. He got out. What a shame. So however you feel about guns, I gotta tell you, a good guy with a gun doesn't always end up being the hero. He sometimes ends up being dead. Which is why, again, I'm not a fan of people walking into our malls and our restaurants and our bars and our churches with a loaded handgun. Just not a fan of it. So it's 'tis the season, and this season there are many heartbroken people in our country. Especially this year, we have had so many mass shootings. And there's going to be a lot of people this season that it will be their first Christmas without their child who was killed in a mass shooting. Their child that died of an opioid overdose, a heroin overdose. Their child who committed suicide or allegedly committed suicide. I'm still working on this story. It's going to be a big one. When it comes out, it will be a big one. It takes a lot of research, but it's coming. There are people in this country who are not holly and jolly. And I submit to you that they should not be forced to be. This is the time of year when I hear people say, oh, I have to do this. I have to decorate my house. I have to outdo the neighbors in my decorations. I have to put up the biggest Christmas tree ever. I have to bake 12 different kinds of cookies. I have to buy Aunt Edna in Milwaukee a Christmas gift, even though I haven't talked to Aunt Edna in 15 years. And she doesn't even send me a thank you when she gets my gift. The only way I know she gets the gift is because I send it, so I get a notification from the post office that she got the gift. She doesn't do the thank yous. She just expects the gifts. Or she cashes the check. I have to, I have to, I have to. Is that really what this season is about? Having to? What's going to happen if you only bake one kind of cookie? Is the world going to end? You know, I remember the first year that I refused to put up Christmas decorations. It was not only a year like every year now since my mother died that I'm always missing my mom. Even though it's been a while. She died in 2004. She was killed by medical malpractice. But Christmas has never been the same for me. And it never will be. And I can't even imagine those of you who are out there right now who have lost a child who won't be at your Thanksgiving or your Christmas table this year, who won't have gifts under the tree to open because they're dead. how horrible this must be for you. But society tells you, get over it. It's the holidays. It's time to smile and be jolly and celebrate. How dare you not put up a Christmas tree? Huh? First of all, I don't get company over the holidays at my house. So if I decide, as is my right to decide what happens in my own home, for the most part, don't get me started on the city inspectors and crap that I have to deal with on Friday. But if I choose not to put up a tree and I have people telling me, what do you mean you didn't put up a tree? What's wrong with you? Why do you give a shit if I put up a tree or not? That isn't your problem. Are you depressed? Yeah, maybe a little. But you don't care because you expect me to be holly and jolly and go with the flow and walk around like a puppet and just do it. Because it's Christmas. Actually, it's Xmas. Because again, Christmas has nothing to do with trees and lights and cute little reindeer on your front lawn and breaking your neck putting a big ass Santa and reindeer on top of your roof. Nothing. But people have a nervous breakdown if I say I'm not putting up a tree. And I'm not putting up a tree. Last year's tree kind of looked a little strange, and my husband said, do you want me to get a new tree? A new fake tree for this year? I'm like, no, we don't need a tree. We don't. And you know, even if I were having this big Christmas party, I would actually not put up a tree or any decoration. I'd make a lovely spread. We'd have family and friends together, the people who were lucky enough to get invited to my home for my cooking. And we'd enjoy the company. Maybe throw up some darts. I've got dartboards over here, which you guys don't see. Regulation dartboards. Can be a lot of fun. I got holes in my wall because of people who really can't play darts, but I let them play anyway. That's how generous I am. Yeah, you can put a hole in my wall. It's fine. But I don't need a tree, and I don't need fancy decorations, and I don't need to make 12 batches of Christmas cookies. I don't need to do that. And I don't need to be holly and jolly either. And damn it, nobody can force me to be. And it really makes me angry when every year I get messages from people who say, you know, I'm just not in the holiday spirit. Well, what the hell is the holiday spirit? What is it? What is this? I have to. How about I want to instead of I have to? And how about if we all decided that this 'tis the season, we're going to do what we want to do. We don't want to put up a tree, we're not putting up a tree. We don't want to bake cookies, we're not baking no cookies. If we don't want to be holly and jolly and yaha-ha, we're not going to be holly and jolly and yaha-ha. And if we don't want to buy someone a gift, we're not going to buy someone a gift. What's going to happen? Will the world end? Of course not. What always gets me so upset is when people try to force their holly jolliness on others. People sending me texts, oh look at my beautiful cookies I just made. Yeah, whatever. You're an idiot. Weren't you guys trying to lose weight? Why are you making cookies? Oh look at my decorations. Aren't they the best ever? Whatever. I don't care. That's not what this is about for me. I have heard people say how insulted they have been when they are sad during this time of year because they've lost a loved one. Especially when they've lost a child, even an adult child. And how people tell them, get over it already, you're ruining our holidays. Really? Really? They are ruining your holiday because their child is dead. It ruined your holiday. Well, you know what? That's just too fucking bad, isn't it? Someone you claim to care about is sad because their child is dead and they're ruining your holiday. Get over it. Your holidays aren't that important. Their child dead, kind of important. Don't you think? What I'm asking everybody is to be more respectful, more empathetic of those who don't enjoy this time of year. I'll tell you, I feel so sorry and empathetic with those who work or live near a shopping mall. Because getting to work, even though they don't work in the mall, getting to work, getting home from work is going to be a nightmare. From now until the second week in January, it's going to be a nightmare. I feel sorry for them. I feel sorry for those who work in retail, who don't get to spend any time with their families. They don't have time to bake cookies. Because there is no vacation days if you're in a retail business. And yeah, they know that when they take the job. But still, we should be empathetic toward them. We should be grateful for those who volunteer to work in our hospitals, our nursing homes, our fire and police departments, our troops, who are not baking cookies and decorating and shopping. They're saving lives. They're taking care of people who are sick over the holidays, which truly, really sucks, by the way, to be in a hospital or a nursing home over the holidays. We should be grateful for the blessings we have and not be so worried about the crap we want. Shame on the retailers who say everything's marked down 50%, 60%, 80% now to get people into their stores, to be shot, to be trampled, to be stomped on, to be pushed, to be sworn at, who put their employees at risk for such abuse from customers because the Xboxes are sold out. Who cares? At the end of the day, no one's going to remember the decorations. No one's going to remember the cookies or the food or the packages under the tree. They will remember kindness. A person who's sad and missing a loved one, who just gets a phone call saying, we know you didn't feel like coming to the holiday party this year, but we're thinking of you. How are you doing? That's the best gift you can give someone who is mourning the loss of a loved one. And I don't care if it was yesterday or 15 years ago. When someone important is lost from a family, that pain never goes away. And grief doesn't have an owner's manual. Everybody grieves in their own way. And everybody should be allowed to grieve in their own way instead of all this peer pressure. Well, it's Christmas. You have to be happy. No. No, we don't. Political Paula, out.